My Smith of Kitava hits for millions of damage and makes tier 4 Pinnacles easy. Check it out. What's going on, guys? Today, I've got an update to my Invincible Smith of Kitava build. This version of the build maintains the tankiness of the previous version, all while ramping up the damage exponentially thanks to the unique helmet, the Deepest Tower. This helmet treats enemies in our presence as if they're on low life. This effect is broken as it allows us to take advantage of extremely powerful support gems like Execute, which gives us 50% more damage, and passive tree nodes like Finality, Finishing Blows, and Stars Aligned. The build does use some unique jewels like the Megalomaniac Diamond with Finishing Blows for about 1 div, the From Nothing Diamond with Unwavering Stance for 15 Chaos to 1 div, and optionally a +2 Prism of Belief for 5 to 10 Chaos, or a +3 for 2 to 4 div. These jewels combined with the Deepest Tower helmet make bossing easy, and our mapping is effective thanks to the Leap Slam combined with Boneshatter. This creates the large fiery explosions that you see in the mapping footage. Leap Slam with support gem Brink allows us to not stun targets with Leap Slam, which is important as Boneshatter creates a large explosion when heavy stunning a target. Our defenses are still as good as before, as we still have 90 percentile elemental resistances, 3500 life, 52% armor, and 43% block chance. We have a ton of life regen with Consecrated Ground, Vitality, our Ornate Plate Implicit, and the Ascensi Node Leather Bindings. All of this together makes a super tanky and hard-hitting build that's been a blast to play. With the build mechanics out of the way, time for today's sponsor, ExitLag. If you're like me and have experienced bad ping, packet loss, or latency issues, then ExitLag can be your solution. ExitLag is a software designed to reduce your ping and latency to improve your internet connection. With over 1,200 servers across 5 continents, ExitLag will provide the best connection for your game of choice as they offer the service for over 2,000 games. It's super easy to use. All you need to do is download ExitLag, create an account, select your game of choice, and activate to instantly improve your connection. As someone who already had good internet speeds, I was surprised to see that enabling ExitLag improved my ping and provided a smoother and consistent connection. ExitLag uses things such as AI route optimization, dynamic stabilizer, and diagnostic center to provide you with the best internet connection. They even offer a 3-day free trial allowing you to experience all of these features for no cost. ExitLag has different plans for you to choose from, so you and all of your friends can enjoy fast connections for a cheaper price. Make sure you use code Corbin at checkout for a discount as well. So remember, if you want to have a better connection, make sure to check out ExitLag using the first link in the description or the pinned comment below, and a big thank you to ExitLag for sponsoring this video. Alright, here we are on the Smith, and I'm going to break down what skills are on what weapon sets first. So, on Leap Slam, we're going to have it set to weapon set 1 only. Boneshatter, weapon set 1. Perfect Strike, weapon set 2. Infernal Cry, weapon set 2. Warrior Totem, weapon set 2. Solar Orb can be both, it doesn't matter. Hammer of the Gods, I have mine on weapon set 1. Pick whatever one has the better average damage per use. And then Herald of Ash doesn't matter, and Berserk, it doesn't matter. Alright, cool. So now that we have the weapon sets out of the way, let's go ahead and get into what gems we're using. So now for the skill gems and support gems. So Leap Slam, we're gonna rock Leap Slam on a lower level gem as we don't want to be killing with Leap Slam, we want to prime for stun with it. So I have mine on level 14, you can use whatever level is appropriate, just make sure that you're not killing groups of enemies with Leap Slam, we want to be using Boneshatter on those groups of enemies. Brink, because we don't want to be stunning with Leap Slam, we want to prime them for stun. This will prevent you from stunning enemies with Leap Slam. Overpower to get us more stun build up. Martial Tempo for more attack speed. Holy Descent for Consecrated Ground, which will give us 5% max life regen per second. And then Rage for some extra rage on hit for some extra damage. Boneshatter, this is what we're using on the prime for stun targets that we get with Leap Slam. This is what creates those large fiery explosions. Impact Shockwaves for a little extra aftershock after to do some more damage. Magnified Effect for more area of effect. Reach for more area of effect. Devastate, which will fully break the armor of an enemy that we heavy stun. This is important because Perfect Strike has a synergy with this. And then Immolate for 30% extra damage against ignited enemies, and we will be igniting everything because we have Avatar of Fire with our Herald of Ash and then our Leap Slam and everything else, so make sure you're running this here. Perfect Strike. This is our boss killer right here. Most important gem is going to be Execute, as we are going to be getting 50% more damage at all times thanks to the deepest tower helmet. Exploit Weakness, as this is why we have the Devastate gem on here, because this is going to consume that fully broken armor for 40% more damage. Window of Opportunity for 35% more damage, but it is going to shorten the perfect timing window, so if you are missing your perfect strikes, you may want to take this off and swap it for something like Fire Infusion or something else. Concentrated Effect for more area damage, and then Primal Armament for more weapon elemental damage. Infernal Cry, we're using this to get rage and to empower our attacks. I'm rocking Raging Cry to give us some rage on use. Premeditation to get us 15% more damage. Enraged War Cry to get us 30% more damage by consuming 10 rage. Second Wind to get 2 uses of it. And then Tireless to lower the chance to consume an empowerment. Ancestral Warrior Totem, we are rocking this to put Armor Breaker in here. This is helping us break armor additionally, so that way we guarantee we have the synergy on the Perfect Strike, and also our Leap Slam will consume broken armor to give us more stun buildup. So I like running this here for boss fights specifically to help me get that heavy stun. So Armor Breaker, and we're going to rock Demolisher to get the more broken armor from it. Fire Infusion, because we do want this dealing more damage. Break Posture, so that way it applies Daze. Daze will give us more stun buildup. And then Persistence to increase the duration of the totem. Solar Orb, we're using this to apply our fire exposure. Make sure it's a low level one. Level 5 is the lowest that you can do. Make sure you quality it as well. Fire exposure is going to apply fire exposure whenever we ignite a target. This will be igniting all the time, so this will lower the resistance of the target. Strip Away to increase this exposure effect. Font of Blood for some extra life regen, and then Font of Rage for some extra rage. I have Hammer of the Gods in my pocket. You do not need this, but I like having it for like maybe a pesky pack of rares or something randomly. I do find myself using this on a rare occasion in maps, but you don't have to have this if you don't want it. I'm rocking Fist of War to ancestrally boost it, which will boost its damage. Hourglass to boost its damage. Elemental Focus to boost its damage. Close Combat to boost its damage. And Rage Forge to consume rage to deal, who knows, more damage. Herald of Ash, we are rocking this to get some extra clear speed. It is just going to create a fire explosion and do some overkill damage to nearby targets whenever a target dies. We're gonna rock Cannibalism for 2% life on kill, and then Vitality for 1% max life recovery per second. Like, it's a nice little regen buff. You can run Herbalism if you want to, but I like the Vitality here. And then Berserk, this is giving us a pretty solid damage boost because it's going to increase the effect of rage, but it is going to consume some of our max life per second. So I would make sure that you do have either some life regen from some gear or on your implicit from your ornate plate, or maybe some ascendancy nodes or passive tree nodes to make sure that you're not constantly draining your life. So yeah, that is it for the skill gems and support gems. So let's go to get into the gear. All right, now I'm going to explain the gear, and I'm going to go and break down the weapon sets first. So my first weapon set is my mapping hammer and my shield. On your mapping hammer, you're just going to want some good damage, some strength, stun build up, anything like that's going to be fine. Just make sure you have some nice damage. You can get level melee skill. Just get a nice solid mace. Make sure you are slotting in either increased physical damage or increased elemental damage, dependent on, you know, how much of what your weapon has. You could go skill speed or attack speed for some quality of life, but I like my hits doing as much damage as possible, so I like going greater iron runes here. On my shield, I do like to get a good shield with some block chance because block chance is nice for keeping us alive when mapping. I also have additional physical damage reduction, some strength, and some max life. Make sure you're getting resistance filled out and your attributes. On my bossing set of hammers, primarily what I'm doing and what I'm shooting for is going for high damage, level of melee skill, and strength, because you do want a lot of strength because we need a lot to meet the requirements here, but getting some big damage in level of melee skill is going to yield the best results whenever it comes to perfect strike. So on mine, because I have so much elemental damage on this hammer, I do have it slotted in with increased elemental damage with attacks, but you can see that it's a high DPS hammer with level of melee skill and strength. On the other hammer, it's kind of in the same boat, but since it's primarily physical damage, I have iron runes in here. The crit hit chance is doing nothing for me, but as you can see, I have level melee skill. These are all good things to have here, just making sure that your second set, your bossing set of hammers, have level melee skill and some high damage is going to yield the best results for your perfect strike. All right, so now that those are out of the way, let's go and get into the rest of the gear. So on the gloves, the strongest thing for here for your DPS is going to be +2 level melee skill. Go for max life on all of your gear. You're going to need max life and you're going to need a lot of strength. So make sure that you're getting a lot of strength, a lot of max life, level melee skill, and if you can, get you some added damages on top of that. For the body armor, because we are running the Smith Ascendancy, you are going to need a white body armor. Now, I do recommend the Ornate Plate as it has a implicit regen of maximum life per second, and you could corrupt it and go for either 3 sockets or go for chaos resistance. I went for chaos resistance because I needed more chaos resistance, but you go for whatever you need on your corrupt. On my boots, I've gone with some good movement speed. I've got some strength. I wish I had some max life, but I didn't get that here. And then I have my resistances filled out. So making sure that you're getting life, strength, and your resistances filled out is important, but also make sure to get some good movement speed in your boots because the warrior is already so slow. So you don't want to be moving any slower than you have to be. And then for the helmet, we are running Deepest Tower. This is what is getting that low life damage boost that we have for our skill gems, our support gems, and our tree. This is enabling that. Now, the thing about Deepest Tower is you do have to meet the int requirement on it. You can see it has a 46 int requirement, so make sure that you're meeting that. I do recommend that you go with a 2-socket one, so that way you can slot in some more stuff. But yeah, that is it for the Deepest Tower. For the rings, I like going a mix of flat and percent increased damage. Those typically yield the best, but absolutely make sure that you are getting strength, your resistances, and if you need more, get yourself some more life and then go for damages because we already have pretty good damage. You just want to make sure that you're staying alive and beating everything else. It is good to note that the Coal Stoker node on the Ascendancy for Smith makes it to where anytime we have fire resistance on a gear, that it is going to give us 50% of that fire resistance value as lightning and cold. So that's how I have like such high resistance values. Other rings, same thing. I have 2 flats and then a percent. I got attributes and then resistances. So doing that to make sure that you're filling out all that stuff is going to be the most important thing here. On my amulet, I recommend that if you can to get percent increased armor, percent increased max life, level of melee skill, and of course your attributes and your resistances. We are anointing with stars aligned as we do want that extra low life damage, but you could also anoint with either finishing blows or finality, whatever you need to, but stars aligned is what I went with here. On the belt, we are going Inferno class because we want the plus to maximum fire resistance here. I did get a corrupted one that had +2 on top. This at normal, like at base, rolls plus 5% to maximum fire resistance at max, but with the corrupt, it's netted me effectively a 6% to maximum fire resistance. It has a big value of fire resistance on the bottom, and it also has some strength and some armor. So this is a perfect belt for the warrior. I would recommend trying to get one with at least 2 charm slots, so that way you can run a stun and a freeze charm. If you had a 3rd charm slot, I would recommend running a silver charm for the slow, or you could run some unique charms, whatever you prefer here. For your flask, if you get the biggest life recovery flask that you can get as possible. I have one that is recovering nearly 2200 life over 3 seconds to keep me healed up whenever I need to be. I also have gain charges per second for that way whenever I'm in boss fights, if I absolutely need to get my flash charges back, I can that way. Now, you could also go with like 20% of recovery applied instantly. Any of those work, just get you a nice big recovery flask. And then the mana flask does not matter because we don't have mana because we are using blood magic. So your mana flask is effectively useless right now. So yeah, that is it for the gear. And now I'm going to go and break down the passive tree. All right, so here on the passive tree, and what I'm going to do, since some of these colors are a little bit tough to differentiate, we're going to switch over to path ability because the colors are much more prominent there, as you can see. So on the Smith Ascendancy, the first thing I recommend that you go for is Coal Stoker because it will grant you 50% of your fire resistances on your gear to cold and lightning. So pretty much if you have, let's say, 20 fire res on a piece of gear, you're also going to get 10 cold and lightning, which is great for capping your resistances. You also get small nodes to fire here, and then Forged in Flame to our modifiers to max fire res will also grant max cold and max lightning. This is how I have 90, 90, 90 on all my elemental resistances. We're going to run Smith's Masterwork, so this is why we have to run the normal body armor, the white body armor. The most important node is going to be the 20% increased strength, and then the increased max life. I then recommend getting Molten Symbol for the 25% of physical damage taken as fire. This is increasing our physical max hit by almost 22%, so huge for staying alive on those big giant physical hits, which are the most dangerous thing to everybody. and then leather bindings for the regening 5% of max life per second. This is helping us mitigate the effects of Berserk. So now time for the passive tree. I do recommend that you try to be around level 80 to 85, as it can be tough to kind of manage the weapon set nodes otherwise, but if you want to try it, you're more than welcome to. So first nodes I like to go for are Burn Away for the fire damage, damage pinch, fire resistance, and the magnitude of ignites. I then go with Brutal for the stun buildup, melee damage, and strength, Sturdy Metal for the extra armor, and then Relentless for the extra armor, life regen, and strength. We'll come out here to Smash for increased melee damage and melee damage against heavy stun enemies. This is why it is important to heavy stun those bosses for as much damage as possible. We'll come out here and grab Burning Strikes for the extra damage. And then on weapon set 1, we'll grab these 2 nodes for area of effect because we want our Boneshatter and our Leap Slam to clear as much as possible. Coming down here, we'll go normal node, normal node, normal node for the increased damage. And then on weapon set 1, we'll have the area of effect nodes. Right here, we'll go weapon set 2 because our Infernal Cry is on weapon set 2, which will grant us some extra damage. Right here, we'll grab the strength nodes. If you need this last one right here, grab it. If you don't need either of those, don't bother grabbing them. We'll come out here for the Blade Catcher for the increased effect of our armor against critical hits and the 15 the strength. And then right here on weapon set 1, we'll grab these area of effect nodes and Aftershocks. Aftershocks does apply to impact shockwaves on Boneshatter, so this is beneficial to us. For the first jewel, it is the optional Prism of Belief Diamond. It is +3 level of Perfect Strike. It is accounting for 13.6% of my total DPS. So super strong gem for about 2 to 4 div. If you want a +2, it is anywhere from 15 to 20 chaos to 1 div. So pretty cheap for the amount of damage you'll be able to put out. A +1's probably dirt cheap, 5 to 10 chaos. So really nice damage boost here. You could also just go with a really nice rare gem if you wanted to. Right here, we're going with these nodes to get the stun threshold and strength, and unbending for the max life. We'll go normal node, normal node, normal node for the damage, and then on weapon set 1, we'll go stun build up, area of effect, and then weapon set 2, we'll go with the damage against immobilized enemies. This is why it is important to be heavy stunning your enemies. Resolute Technique, we're grabbing this because this will make our hits never miss. Accuracy can be a big problem on Warrior, so this makes it to where we don't have to worry about building into it. We'll just never miss, so huge for a DPS increase. From this point on, this is going to be weapon set 1 nodes, and these are all just area of effect nodes. Coming down here on weapon set 2, we'll grab these empowered ones to increase our Warcry effectiveness. Vocal Empowerment is going to be empowering additional attack. This lets us hit 2 perfect strikes back to back for increased damage. We'll come out this way, and we're coming over here on weapon set 2 to get Skull Crusher for 20% more damage against heavy stun enemies with maces. This is 20% more damage. This is multiplicative. This is not additive. This is an extremely powerful node. You can see it is a 16.5% full DPS increase. Right here, we're grabbing Avatar Fire, and this is important because Avatar Fire is making us not have to worry about enemy physical damage reduction. So we don't have to worry about breaking armor whenever we're mapping. We just have to be pinning fire resistance, which is much more easier, in my opinion, than having to worry about breaking armor. On weapon set 2, we're going to grab these damage pin nodes, the magnitude of ignite, and most importantly, Fulmination for the increased hits against ignited enemies. We'll come up this way, and for this gem right here is our next gem. I'm running the From Nothing Diamond. It's going to make it to our passives and radius of Unwavering Stance, which is this node over here. Can be allocated without connected. This is letting us pick Finality, which is getting a ton of damage with Deepest Tower. Now, it doesn't look like it, but this is a normal skill point. This is not a weapon set point. This is a normal skill point. These two are weapon set 2 points, but this one is just a normal point right here. Make sure you're doing that. Coming out this way, we are going to be grabbing Blood Magic. This makes it to where we don't have to worry about mana anymore. Getting mana on Warrior can be a pain when you're already having to worry about so many other things. So this makes your life so much easier. Just do this. You have so much life regen and life on kill that you don't have to worry about it. Coming out this way with a normal node on weapon set 2 right here, melee damage at close range, and then right here, area of effect nodes. All right, now we're going to come down this way. And we're going to come out here to Brute Strength for all these boosts to Strength. We don't have to worry about mana anymore, and the 1% increased damage per 15 Strength. Nice damage boost there. And then we're going to rock Giant's Blood. This is what is letting us wield a 2-handed mace and a shield, and then 2 2-handed maces in our weapon set 2. It does triple the attribute requirements. This is why we need so much Strength. Coming down this way, I am grabbing these max resistance nodes and then getting Unnatural Resilience for the +5 to all element resistances and the +1 to max fire res for each 40 uncapped fire res. This is helping me reach that 90-90-90 threshold that I want. Coming down this way, we have a rare jewel. I do have +1 to max fire resistance on here. I have damage with maces, empowered attacks deal increased damage, and then gain rage on hits. Those are all good things to get on a ruby jewel, but you can just look for whatever ruby jewel works for you and for your needs. Coming out this way, on a normal node and a normal node, we're getting smoke inhalation because we want the damage pinning fire resistance and the duration of damaging aliens on enemies. On weapon set 2, we're getting the damage pin fire resistance and incendiary because we want more damage against burning enemies. Coming out this way, I am grabbing iron reflexes because I do have a very, very, very small amount of evasion rating. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I've checked on my character screen in game. I have some evasion, and this converts that to armor. It is a nice 13.1% increase to armor, a 4% increase to my physical damage reduction. So overall, not a bad node for me, but if you absolutely don't have any evasion, don't take this. So on weapon set 1 right here, we're going with all these area of effect nodes. We're gonna come down this way and path all the way right here to polymathy because we want the 7% increased attributes to get our strength, dex, and in up. We're gonna come out this way and grab these attack speed nodes because this makes it so much more convenient whenever you're mapping and bossing. And then for our final jewel, I am running a Megalomaniac, and on my Megalomaniac, I am running Finishing Blows. That is the most important thing. I think I found this for a div or two. I have it in the beginning if you want to check to see how much the market price was, but it is going to give us more damage on low life targets. And then I also just happen to have Exploit the Elements. I think I bought this one, like I said, for maybe a div or two, 3 max, no more than that, but find you a good Megalomaniac that works for you. The only thing that I would absolutely recommend that you have is either Finishing Blows or the Stars Aligned, because if you have the Stars Aligned on here, then you can anoint with Finishing Blows, and since I have Finishing Blows on here, I can just anoint with Stars Aligned, and that node is over here. So yeah, that is what I have rocking for my skill tree. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump into a map demo, a boss demo, and a Pinnacle boss demo. Okay, so here we are on our map demo, and you can see here's my tier 15 Waystone fully juiced out. And here's the node I'm going to be running, so let's get into it. Alright, so here we are. So what we're going to be looking to do is we're going to be priming enemies for stun, and that is that little circle you see right there, and we're going to be uppercutting them with Boneshatter. So that is the loop. That is it. That is all we're doing, is we're going to be leap slamming in the groups and then uppercutting them, and the explosion should kill them. Boom. Everything dies. Pretty simple. Pretty easy, nothing crazy to it. If you absolutely need to, you can perfect strike something. If you want to, you can hammer the gods them, whatever you need to do. So like if I had a rare here and I didn't feel like perfect striking it, I could just drop the hammer on it, and that's good there too. But yeah, I mean the mapping loop is pretty simple. It's pretty easy. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this map and get to the map boss and show you guys the map boss demo. Alright, so here are the map boss. So, what I like to do before I go into the map boss, you could get your rage all the way up. It is a little bit overkill, so I'm not going to bother. But the big thing is, whenever we first get into the boss fight, is we're going to drop our solar orb, we're going to drop our warrior totem, and we're going to start building up stun. So, I'm going to walk forward, and I'm going to go drop my orb, and drop my totem, and we're going to begin leap slamming. And you can see stun bars filling up. And once the stun bar is about full, let me get back over here where we teleported to. We're going to drop our orb, drop our guy again. We're going to uppercut him. We're going to war cry, and then go into a perfect strike for a one shot. Super simple, super easy. Just make sure they're stunned, make sure their armor is broken, make sure that orb is down, and yeah, you'll be good to go. Huge damage, super simple. And yeah, now I'm going to get into a Pinnacle boss demo. So here I am on my media player. I have it set up so that way I can pause it and show you exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it in this Pinnacle boss fight. So to go ahead and start off, whenever you first approach your Pinnacle boss, you're going to do the same thing, drop your solar orb and drop your totem exactly how you do in a map boss fight. And you want to start breaking armor and everything like that. Now, the thing with tier 4 Pinnacles is, I don't know if it's bugged or not, but the stun buildup is incredibly difficult. I do not recommend trying to build up stun and heavy stunning the targets. I would just recommend that you have fire exposure, your max rage, you war cry, make sure the armor's broken, and just get the most damage out of you can. We're still getting like 10 million damaged hits without heavy stunning. I can only imagine what it would be if we were heavy stunning. So on things like Zesh, you see I'm going in, I'm building up my rage, and now what I've done is I've already popped my war cry. I'm ready to go in for damage because I see that he has his armor broken, he has his fire exposure, so I'm good to go. I'm going to pop my war cry, and I'm going to wind up and do a perfect strike. So boom, big ol' hit right there for about 10 mil. Another wind up, another big hit for another about, I don't know, 10 mil, and I get a little mini hit in there. Same thing, I'm going to drop my warrior totem back down because I want to get the armor the armor break applied again, because the armor break is getting me the exploit weakness thing on our perfect strike, that extra damage. So fire exposure, armor break, my rage up, and we're just going to war cry again, and we're going to smack him up and kill him. So yeah, that is the loot for Pinnacle bosses. You just want to make sure that the armor is broken, that fire exposure is applied, and that you're using your war cry. Make sure you have some rage, and that will yield some pretty dang good results. So yeah, that is going to be it for the Pinnacle boss section. So that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I did really enjoy making this updated variant for the Smith. So if you have any tips or anything like that, anything that I missed out on, please let me know in the comments section. I will be making a Chernobog variant here soon. Shout out Woodford, by the way, for getting that in my hands. We'll get him that variant spat out as fast as possible. So yeah, if you really like the video, feel free to subscribe, come on my Twitch and follow, leave me a like on this, or just let me know that you appreciate it in the comments. So if you made it this far, thank you, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Y'all take care.